We have tested over 15 of the latest and greatest rangefinders available this year to help you decide which is the best for your game. I've broken them down into 5 categories in this video, and at the end, I'm going to pick my overall winner. Let's get started. Right, let's get cracking. Those 5 categories we're talking about are some best budget options, the best feature-packed options, the best optics, the best compact laser rangefinder, and my 5th and final category, a bit of a wild card for you at the end, so stick around for that as well as my overall winner. Now, if any of these lasers I talk about in this video interest you, you want to pick them up, I've put some handy links down in that description where you can find the best price for each model in your area. Right, starting off with budget, I'm going to break it down into 3 different budgets: under 100, under 150, and under 200. Starting under 100, and the first model is this. It's the Go, so good they named it 3 times, Sport V Pro. Now, while this retails at $129, I know it can be picked up in most places for under $100. That's why it's here. And it does everything you want a laser to do, right? It has got 6 times magnification. It's got slope mode, so slope adjusted distances, which can be turned on and off nice and easily with this button here. It's got vibrate when you hit the pin. It's also got a scan mode. It's also IPX4 waterproof. What more do you need from a laser rangefinder for under $100? I found it to be really accurate. It picks up the pin pretty quickly, not as quick as some of those I'll talk about today, but quick enough for you not to notice. Yes, it might be a bit more rudimentary and a bit clunkier from the graphics and the feel as some of the other ones we're going to look at today. But if you're after just sort of that absolute basic minimum level of functionality for the lowest price possible, under $100, you can't go much further than this. And actually, I forgot, it's got a magnet built in. So if you're a kart golfer, you can pop it on there. Okay, so for under £150 or dollars is the Golf Buddy Laser Light 2. Now this retails at $170, but again, shop around. You can find it for under $150 pretty easily. But for that extra sort of £50, $50 over the Go, you get a much lighter device. It's only 140 grams, so it's really compact, and it's got some much more premium sort of tactile materials over it that make it just feel a bit nicer in the hand. And I think you'll agree, it looks a bit better than the Go. As well, all the same functionality, so slope adjusted distances that can be turned on and off, 6 times magnification, scan mode, pin mode, it vibrates, it does everything you need a laser to do. And again, for under £150, you know, that £50 extra gets a slightly more premium device, look, feel, the case, for example, all look a bit better, but that functionality is all there. Right, so if you're shopping for one around the £200, $200 mark or under, this is the one I'd go for. It's the Bluetooth Series 3 Max rangefinder. So it's got the slope that you can toggle on and off here. It's got a scan mode. It's got the dual display, which you can change using this button here. So those black or red graphics, depending on the lighting, which I really like. It's got your cart magnet, so you can pop it on the cart, on the sort of frame of your cart or buggy. And for me, the tangible difference is sort of how it looks and feels. You can feel this is a more premium device, and the case kind of reflects that as well. I think it's a really nice case that Bluetooth have made. One other feature which I love on this device, which kind of makes me think that alone is worth the extra investment, is when you zap the pin and get your yardage, right? So what have I got there? 114. Sometimes you'll zap it, put it down, and just go, I didn't even take that number on board then, let me zap it again. What this does is once you've zapped the pin, is leave that number up there for sort of 5 or 6 seconds. So if you've zapped it, look down, gone brain dead and forgotten what it was, you can look back in your viewfinder and it's still waiting for you there. A really nice little touch there from a brand that's clearly thought about how golfers use laser rangefinders and how forgetful golfers can be sometimes. So a really nice added feature in this really premium device. For under £200, you get a lot of value here. So in this whole sort of value segment, basically, pick your budget, pick what price you don't want to go over, and there are 3 rangefinders there in the Go, the Golf Buddy, and this Bluetooth that will really serve you well. Okay, so we're going to go right to the other end of the spectrum here and look at the most feature-packed rangefinders that we tested and our favourites. I'm going to start with the Bushnell Pro X3 Plus. Now the Pro X3 came out about 2 years ago. This Plus version has got a really unique new feature on it where it basically casts wind speed and wind direction from the Bushnell app into the actual scope of the laser itself. So when you're scoping a pin or whatever you're scoping out on the course, it will give you the exact wind speed and direction once you've paired it with the app. And it's just totally unique to this device and a pretty cool feature if that's what you're into. To be honest, we found the actual pairing of the app and the device a little bit of a faff, but when we got there, it was really useful. And it is worth noting that this wind speed calculation, much like slope adjusted distances, are illegal in competition. So if you're a regular competition golfer, perhaps this device isn't quite for you. And I will say this feature is a little bit niche, but when it's in there, it is really helpful to know which direction it's coming from. It's then just onto you to kind of understand, you know, let's say it's 10 miles an hour out of the left. It's on you to understand how that's going to affect the ball. Obviously, the device can't tell you that. So if you're looking for that kind of extra bit of knowledge on the course and you're not playing competition, this is something totally unique to this device and worked really well once we finally got it paired. The rest of the device is brilliant. It's a Bushnell, right? So it's got 7 times magnification, which is the most we've got on test today. IPX7 waterproof. It's got slope adjusted distances. It's got what's called jolt technology, which gives you a little jolt through the device when it's zapped the pin. And I will say, it zaps that pin unbelievably quickly. And you can really quickly sort of, zap the pin and get on with your golf, basically. And listen, Bushnell's used by, I think, over 95% of tour players across the world tours. And if it's good enough for them from an accuracy and feature-packed point of view, then I think it should be good enough for us as well. Right, next, I'm going to chat about this. It's the Garmin Approach Z30. And before I get onto the features, can we just agree this is a really good-looking rangefinder? I think pretty unique in the colour scheme they go for. I find some lasers a bit clunky. This is just sleek and looks great. Garmin do great at that. And the reason it's in this feature-packed segment is because it's got a really unique feature on it, whereby when you zap the pin, and it's linked to either the Garmin app or a Garmin smartwatch, once you zap that pin, it will then give you the distance to the back of the green from that pin, and then the distance to the front of that green, all displayed through this viewfinder. That is totally unique to this device, and is something, perhaps unlike the wind feature on the Bushnell I just spoke about, is so useful out on the golf course. And let me give you an example, right? Less relevant to this particular pin, but if you're zapping a pin, you can't quite see the bottom of it, it's on an elevated green, for example, having that information of how far is to the back of the green, how far is to the front of the green, lets you know where that pin is positioned on the green, right, when you can't see the bottom of it. Even more useful if you've got a supported Garmin smartwatch. Once you zap it, it will then give you a bird's eye view of the green on your watch and place that pin precisely. So you could, if you have both devices, zap that pin, look down at your watch, and you can see where that pin's positioned on the green and how far it is to the back or the front. It is absolutely superb. I'd appreciate, again, a bit like the Bushnell, it's niche, as in you have to already have a device in the Garmin ecosystem to benefit from that, but you can just use the phone app as well. So if you link this with the phone app, the free phone app, that's where you get those GPS distances to back and to front of the green. On its own, without any of that functionality, it's still a brilliant laser rangefinder. Beautiful clear display, bright red graphics in there. It's got the cart mount as well. And I think if you're after something like that little bit more information on the course from a feature-packed, beautiful rangefinder, the Garmin Approach Z30 is awesome. Right, so finally in the feature pack section, meet this little guy. It's the Voice Caddy Laser Fit. Look how small and compact this is. I'll talk about a bit more of that later. But one really unique feature on this device, which I think warrants chatting about, is ball triangulation, or just general triangulation data out on the golf course. And what that means, especially if you're playing cart path only golf, where normally you'd have to walk to the ball, zap the pin, walk back to your cart, pick the club, or just go down there and guess entirely. What this allows you to do through one of the modes here is zap the ball from wherever you are, however far away, zap the pin, and then it will tell you that distance from the ball to the pin from wherever you're stood. I absolutely loved it. Listen, I'm not much of a cart golfer, but for those of you who are, I think having that functionality is just absolutely huge. And to have it in this beautiful little compact device that you can pop in your pocket is brilliant. I'll come on to a few more bits about this later, but it's also got an automatic dual display on it, so it will change the graphic colors for you depending on the light. I've spoken about a couple of other devices. I really like that. But again, we're talking feature pack, we're talking unique features here in this specific section, and that triangulation feature is brilliant. Again, for a specific type of golfer, but if that is you, here's the device for you. So 3 really brilliant laser rangefinders that I've just spoken about, all with their own unique features. Whichever one appeals to you a little bit more, that's the kind of one to go for, I guess. If I had to pick one though, I think that Garmin as a standalone rangefinder is superb, and that front back distance from the pin, that feature is brilliant. So if you were to go for one, I'd choose the Garmin. Okay, for my next category, we're chatting about some of the best lasers and the best optics within them, right? So I'm talking about the graphics and the general clearness of the view you get when you're zapping various bits on the golf course. I'm going to start with this. It's the Nikon Coolshot 20i G3. Silly name, but that's beside the point because this is a brilliant little rangefinder. Nikon, renowned for making these brilliant optical devices, cameras, etc. for over 100 years now. So it only makes sense they make a brilliant laser rangefinder, and this is superbly clear. 6 times magnification, so not quite as much as the Bushnell, but it still, for me, just looks unbelievably clear down this. The graphics are nice and clear and simple, and it is rapid at picking up those pins. My only sort of annoyance with it is there's no way of displaying to your playing partners whether the slope is on or off. Normally there's a flashing light or a switch on the side. This doesn't have that. But for £229, which is pretty reasonably priced in the market in general, there's a lot of features on this. A nice, clean, compact device and a pretty unique case as well. So if you have something that's crystal clear and as reliable as a Nikon product is, this is a great option. Okay, next let's chat about this. It's the Zoom OLED Pro. And as you might guess from the name, it's got a dual OLED display in it, and that's the kind of technology we're used to seeing in high-end TVs. Popped into this laser rangefinder, geez, now this is clear. This is the clearest probably of them all. If I try and zap this pin behind me now, not only does it do that really quickly, but when you're looking around the green and doing other bits with it, it's a step ahead of the rest of them basically. So if you're after a laser that can give you a more clear idea of what's going on in front of you, that sort of extra bit of vibrancy, this does it really well. It's a decent rangefinder all around as well. Slope, toggle mode, you can turn it on and off here. It's got a free scan mode, it vibrates when you zap the pin. It's also got a magnet built in. These are the kind of things we expect and you're seeing in a lot of these rangefinders today. But this unique device, beautifully built, I must say as well, very tactile, very premium. And if sort of total vibrancy and the clearest view possible is what you're after, this is the one to go for. Okay, finally, in the optics category, we're gonna look at this. It's the ShotScope Pro ZR. Now, the reason I put it in here is it's really clear. It's got 6 times magnification, as most of these guys do. But I like the amount of graphics it's got going on it. I wouldn't say it's overly busy, but you know, there's plenty of information in there. And if that's what you like, which I do, it's a really good option for it. It's a heavier, bulkier design for sure. This is 340 grams, so at least 100, 150 grams heavier than some of the ones we've tested today. That's a preference thing. I don't mind the lightweight one, but if you want something a bit bulkier that's good on like a bit of a blustery day like today, that'll hold its own in the wind. It's got all the features you expect. Slope you can toggle on and off. It's got a dual optics mode, which isn't automatic, but you can just flick it with this button here. It's got a magnet built into the side. It's got a scan mode, and it is absolutely rapid at picking up pins. It really doesn't take a lot, even for the most unsteady hand, for it to find the pin, vibrate, let you know it's there, give you the slope information, and away you go. So another great option in this space here. But if I was to go for one, for out and out optics and out and out clearness, it would have to be that Zoom OLED. Again, unique technology used in that to make the view down the course as crystal clear as possible. Okay, so we're coming to the studio for the next category, which is the best compact lasers. I've tested some since I last filmed. You saw me on the golf course that I need to talk about here. We've already seen 2 that are worth mentioning. That's the Nikon, which is incredibly small, comes in a beautiful little sort of mesh carry case, which is a bit different as well. And the Voice Caddy Laser Fit. I've already mentioned this. It's 130 grams, the lightest on test today, fits in the palm of my hand, fits in your pocket without being intrusive, which I really, really like about it. And it's still feature packed, isn't it? We've mentioned that already. Ball triangulation, dual display, things like that. An excellent compact rangefinder. Right, 3 more to talk about here. First, the Caddy Talk Mini Me. This footprint of this laser is comparable to a credit card. This is the size of this, weighing just 132 grams, so pretty much the same as the Voice Caddy here. It's incredibly accurate thanks to its magic slope, which applies the concept of ballistics to improve accuracy. I know, pretty feature packed for something that small. It's got an LED bar, which lets you know that your playing partner know what state it's in, so whether the slope's on or off. It's got pin mode, vibration, a USB-C charging port as well. So again, pretty feature packed, $280, so on the more expensive side, but if you're after something that is minuscule footprint-wise, that's a great option. Another one I want to talk about, something again very unique in the way it's designed, the Golf Buddy Aim Quantum, £299, $299. This is sort of unconventionally compact in the way it's shaped. So it's got a cuboid kind of design that you can see now. It's designed to be stored in a variety of ways on your person, whether that's on the golf bag or primarily on your belt. I know this is pretty unique and it looks a bit naff, we'll be honest, when you're using it. It's not the most, you know, hip, trendy thing you've ever seen in the world. But if you're a cart path only golfer, for example, trudging back and forth, having that attached to you there is always very, very useful. It's got 3 targeting modes, 2 of which include scan and pin. We kind of know these now. Pretty much all of these have that, but it's useful to have on it. It's also got 7 times magnification, which is the same level as the Bushnell we spoke about earlier in the video, which is the most we've got on test, equal with that. Fully waterproof, charges via USB-C cable. So again, unique in its compact nature because of the shape of it. And if you want something that's a bit different the way you store it, that's a really cool option in this compact market. Finally, the Bushnell Tour V6 Shift. I've spoken about Bushnell products already. This isn't conventionally compact either, but it's one of the smallest Bushnell rangefinders you can get. £399, so a damn sight cheaper than that Pro 3X Plus I was already talking about, which is helpful. This thing locks onto the pin almost automatically. It's a Bushnell project. We've come to expect how good these things are at doing that. This is brilliant. It's got the Jolt technology. It's got the magnet that fits on a buggy. So if you want the sort of high-end Bushnell product that's a little compact, there's a great option there. Right, I promised you a wild card. We're going to chat about that now before I come on to my overall winner, and that is the Precision Pro Titan Elite rangefinder. Now, my colleague Joe's been testing this. It's now his gamer, his go-to. He loves it. And it's got one really unique feature which makes it totally stand out versus the ones we've tested today. So before we get onto that, as a rangefinder on its own, it is superb. Really quick at picking up the pin, great graphics in a nice design, basically. It's IPX67 waterproof, which means it's highly waterproof and dustproof for you adventurers out there. It's going to survive pretty much any conditions. But that unique feature I was talking about is that it is both a rangefinder and a GPS device all in one. To get that GPS information, all you got to do is sync it to the app on your phone, and you've got both. You've got all that information in one device then. So you can zap the pin as a normal rangefinder and get your slope-adjusted distances and all that stuff. But press another button and sync with the app, it will give you the distances to the front, middle, and back. So you have totally in one device through one viewfinder all of that information at your hands. So yeah, as I said, it's Joe's go-to device now. He absolutely loves it, and I think I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention that this device is out there in the marketplace. That sort of GPS rangefinder mix is all there at a pretty decent price, I must say, as well. So well done, Precision Pro, for making that unique device. And yeah, there's your wild card, there's your wow factor. Right then, back in the studio for my conclusions then, and as I promised, I'll be picking out an overall winner, my personal favourite, but I've got to give a few shout outs first. The Blue Tees Series 3, love that. Again, for £200, $200, that is pretty much all you need from a rangefinder. I think at any price point, that thing really, really stands out. Bushnell Tour V6 Shift, if you're after the sort of high end, the highest possible end, the quickest flag locating rangefinder, that's the one to go for. Pretty compact as well. And I love the Garmin as well. Spoke about how much I enjoyed that technology where it zaps the pin and gives you that front and back distance. So 3 great options there. I'm really sitting on the fence here, but I'm gonna have to pick a winner, and I think you probably heard from how much I've loved it so far in this video. It's going to be the Voice Caddy Laser Fit. Again, really well priced, still feature packed, and it's highlights how small it is, how light it is, and that ball triangulation feature I think will really suit a lot of you golfers out there. So that is my conclusion. That's my overall winner. As I said, if you like the look of any of these laser rangefinders I spoke about in this video, there are some handy links down in the description to find the best price for these in your area. That's it for me from now. Hope you found this useful and informative. Until next time, see you then.